Hey guys, so this one I'm really excited about because I live in Greenville and I've actually gone to this site of hauntedness like my entire life. So it's like so weird to now just finally figure out that it's haunted, or supposedly. But anyways, so I am, of course, talking about the Greenville Tuberculosis Hospital, and also known as Herklotz Park. Alright, so the Tuberculosis Hospital was built from the 1930s to the 1950s. It was the sanitarium. And then from the 1950s on, for the most part, it was an insane asylum. And then later it was changed into a prison release forum or whatever the fuck it's called. And then it was finally torn down in 2001 or 2002. They're debating dates there after it was burned. Supposedly, if you go during the daytime or at night, you still hear things like banging, screaming, and unseen tinkling bells. That's freaky. Also at night, you'll see shadows move, and people who live near the park have said that these shadowy figures actually move into their house. I'm like, excuse me? What? A man named Jason Prophet came to visit in 2008. He also has a lot of misinformation, so I wouldn't go by his testimony alone. I mean, it's good, but he has got a lot of things wrong, because I've actually been to the park, so I would know. And for another thing, the actual hospital isn't where the actual park was built. The parking lot out front and part of the soccer field that's out front, that is where the original hospital used to be. He thinks it's like exactly where the park is, and I'm like, hell no. Excuse me, sir, you were wrong. But anyways. So this survey was done in 2008. When the building was actually still up, if you went on the first floor, you would hear screams that eventually turned into running footsteps, and you would feel something like come past you. On the third floor, you would feel like you were being pushed. Loud chatters, things would move by themselves or would move with apparitions. If you sat in the driveway, you would see shadow figures walking around and stuff like that. The actual address, apparently a lot of people got the address wrong, and so finally somebody was just like, excuse me, it's this, not... So it's not on Paris Mountain or anything like that. I actually live on Paris Mountain. That is how close I am to the park. The park is not far from Paris Mountain. It's like 5 minutes away from my house. I could literally walk there if I wanted to. I choose not to because, there's a lot of back roads that I could take to make it faster and dangerous. But anyways, yeah. The address is 126 Beverly Road, Greenville, South Carolina, 29609. And this guy who went there, Jason Prophet or whatever the fuck his name is, said that when he was there, he left his car, not running, but when he came back, the headlights were on, and they weren't before. So he's like, yeah, it's obviously haunted, and I'm just like, okay, it's not that I believe that it's not haunted. I mean, it probably is. I mean, duh. A sane asylum, sanatorium, people died there. They have the fucking original boiler room and the basement. It's still there. It's just boarded up. And there's actually a door. Okay. Right before you get to, the concrete steps, it's, okay, so the soccer field and the parking lot is there. Then there's, this little place where, there's a plaque, and then there's, a bench or something, and there's, a door. That door is not part of the original building, but it's part of a building that was behind the original building. So it's still creepy as fuck. And it probably leads to the basement and the boiler room. So they have it like completely bolted into the side. It's like there's like a hill too, so it was like completely bolted. I mean, I've literally tried the door before. I mean, if it was possible, I would just pick the lock and go in, but it's also very creepy. So I don't want to. But anyways, and he says that the park, the actual playground part, like with the slides and everything it's built in the physical shape of the inside of the tuberculosis hospital, which is very creepy. He apparently heard chattering and screams. He used EVP, which is where you record yourself asking questions or just talking, and then you listen back to it and you listen for background noise. And apparently when he did it, he heard chattering and screams in the background. He also, at certain parts, heard bells and banging. Apparently the concrete steps that lead up to the park are part of the original hospital, which, because he's got the entire like area wrong, I don't know if that's completely true, because the park isn't really built where the original building was, so I don't know if I believe that completely. But anyways, apparently a few months before this guy came to visit, a guy and his buddy saw like a pool of blood near the horseshoe area, and they freaked out and left. Well, then they came back later, and there literally was no blood there. Which, if you know anything about blood is hard to clean up. Like, it doesn't just disappear and yeah. It's hard to clean up blood. Not that I would know or anything, but like, just from watching scary movies or like murder mysteries or whatever, blood is very hard to clean up, and you can just come back with like LED lights or whatever. Even if you do like clean it up, like they come back with like special fluorescent lights that pick up traces of blood. You know, so it's kind of impossible to get rid of blood. Well, then supernatural experts came in 2014 to visit the park, and they actually don't think it's haunted. They may have gotten videotaped, or not videotaped, but like recorded conversations and everything. And apparently like 14 minutes in, they had like one place where they can consider it EVP, but it's not likely, and it was like one sentence or something, but they never heard like anything else. So they don't think it's haunted. So there's a debate between whether it actually is haunted or not haunted. Me personally, I don't think it's haunted. Like, I think I would be able to feel something, you know, if it was actually haunted. And since I've actually been there and played there as a child, well, maybe it was because I was a child and ignorant, didn't know, you know, anything about ghosts and anything like that. But I want to go back now that I know and just like listen out for things, you know. I mean, I'm sure it's kind of hard during the daytime, but they said it was literally, the guy, Jason, said like literally everything they heard was like as loud as the kids were screaming as they were playing. So, I don't know if it's haunted or not. But I do have a story. One time I was there, and I've had my birthday party there quite a few times, and I've never felt anything as it was getting dark, but maybe that was because I was just a child, you know, innocent. But anyways, so one time I was there, and there's literally like this slide that's like super skinny, and you can't, like, I don't know, you can't really move around in it. Well, unfortunately, I turned completely upside down. But the weird thing is, like, I don't remember it happening. I just remember falling and, like, hitting my head on the ground and being like, what just happened? Like, what? But anyways, I don't know if that was paranormal or just me being completely skinny as I am. I don't know. Who knows? I'll leave it up to you guys if you believe Hercules Park is haunted or not. I still think it's kind of scary that it was built for kids on a site where people actually died. But you know, we have a crazy, whacked out world. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.